So I wanted to talk about a little bit of news stuff that happened kind of throughout the day today. It's an important thing that has to do with world quests and hey, it's Soul. I'm dressed totally down, no hair, no nothing, and shit, whatever. I'm just gonna get to reading what's going on with world quest refresh rates in Dragonflight. So there was an earlier post where some of this stuff is crossed out, but the original post was with scheduled weekly maintenance tomorrow, we're making a change that we've seen a lot of feedback from players about. Many world quests associated with the Valdrakon Accord, the Iskara Tuskar, and Dragonscale Expedition factions will now reset daily, because before it was semi-weekly. It resets every Tuesday and like Friday nights, kind of similar to the Covenant assaults from Shadowlands and the N'Zoth things from patch 8.3 in BFA. The Maruk Centaur, who have regular hunts and a nomadic camp full of periodic quests, will continue to offer their world quests on a semi-weekly cadence. That's on a weird kind of independent schedule. Now, when news of this first came out, the reactions were pretty mixed. And there were folks that were kind of railing against us, like, oh no, they're giving us a checklist to do that we have to complete every day now. Which is a notion that, you know, I can kind of understand, but at the same time I absolutely disagree with, because it kind of ignores what has been built into Dragonflight, which is effectively an infinite farm scheme where you can, you know, do certain activities over and over and over and over again for incremental rewards, but you'll be able to basically, you know, just go all the way down the renown tracks if you want to. Whatever the case, though, hours later, they updated this post saying that upon further review and consideration, we decided to drop this change at this time. All along, our goal has been to avoid making world quests feel mandatory, while still offering them as a worthwhile option for players who are looking for things to do on a given day. Following your feedback here and our own internal discussions, we're going to try to find other ways to accomplish that without impacting crafting too much or generating a great deal of concern for those who don't already have something, a daily routine, or want a daily routine. Thank you. So the takeaway, at least that's coming from Blizzard, is that they're going to think of something new. You know, they're not, they had this idea, they thought it was cool because they got feedback. And then they got other feedback as a reaction, and then now they're just going to pull things back. But they intend to do something with this in the future. Now, what I'd like to do is just kind of discuss, you know, the pros and cons of having world quests be like a daily thing as opposed to the bi-weekly thing that we're going to continue to have for the moment. And personally, I don't have a side to take, really. Because I've been participating in at least some of this infinite farm. I was doing a lot of it today with the Waking Shores and the Sibelian and the Rathian stuff. Just blowing through rares and bosses and farming a currency, farming keys. There are many schemes, or not many. There are several different kinds of schemes that let us infinitely farm for this reputation, because that's what all this is about, being able to rep farm. So on the one side, we have the folks that are all in with having this whole bi-weekly world quest sort of thing. They want to be able to, and this is something that I had to join at the start too. You know, I got to max level, did my thing, and then I knocked out the world quest, and then then the map was pretty much clear. That's it. There was nothing else to do. Now, there are some world quests that do come every day. There is a PvP world quest in war mode, and there is a pet battle daily world quest, and there's like a spattering of dailies for fishing, 2 dailies that you do, and like that's pretty much it. And in a way, that's very liberating. You know, it frees people up, it lets people feel like they're done with their character, and then that way they can just log off WoW and feel fine. Or if they want to continue playing WoW, they can decide to, hey, I'm going to switch to an alt, and I'm going to do the same thing. Or I'm going to participate in the infinite farm, where, again, you can, just keep farming rep over and over again. It is kind of slow, it is really grindy, but you can just keep going if you want to. And I think that's kind of that's an important thing to remember in this conversation, is that there is an infinite farm. There is a way to hard grind this. Because for folks that have been railing against the idea of having these world quests come back on a daily basis, you know, a part of the argument from them that I read is that, you know, if world quests keep coming in every day, they're going to feel compelled to come in every day and knock out that checklist, knock everything out, clear the map, so that way they feel done for the day. It's a very mental thing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just how some people are wired, and we're all wired just a little bit differently. So I get that. The goal, just like Blizzard had said, is to avoid making world quests feel mandatory while still offering them as a worthwhile option for players, yada, yada, yada. So they still want them, but they just don't want them to be up there as if it's, you know, they don't want to send that message to the player that, hey, you gotta do this or else. You're gonna like fall behind, or you're just not going to feel good because you left those things unfinished. Like, I guess never mind the whole notion of falling behind on rep, because again, the infinite farm, and I'll get to that some more in a little bit. But I guess it's just that feeling of, hey, I see all these things, you know, the gamer in me wants to knock these things out. My time doesn't allow me to do that, or it's going to burn me out. I feel bad. And it's easy to argue against that, but it's just, I guess it's just this principle, this feeling of you don't want to leave that thing undone, even though the actual impact may not matter too much. On the other side of this argument is in support of having world quests come in each day. That way, when a player logs in, they're always going to have like this thing to do, like right at reset time. Hey, it's 8 o'clock, daily quest reset, and now I see this map is like nice and full again, and then I can, you know, pick and choose the things that I want to, or wipe out the map. Again, people are wired different ways, and they'll handle, you know, what they see on their map differently. One thing that I did notice in the first couple days, because, you know, we're in that exciting phase where we want to knock everything out, is that, you know, after that first full day of Shadowlands, you know, you're max level, you knock everything out, you come back the next day, and you're like, what do you do now? And you see this empty map. Now, again, there is the infinite farm. For those of us who want to just keep going, grind, we can keep going with that. But there are also those folks that want to feel some sort of structure. Hey, I want a round of dailies to do. Hey, I want a map of stuff to do. I want a checklist. I want these things that I can knock out. I want to be able to pick and choose and things like that. But now that, at least that side of the choice argument is being taken away because there's just nothing. And I feel like, and this is the closest thing that I'm going to get to here with like kind of choosing the side here. What happens when there aren't those world quests, but there is that, you know, you feel compelled to still play because you want that reputation? Yeah, you're going to participate in these infinite farms. And so we're going to see these people, well, participate. They're going to be in the Waking Shores. They're going to be farming up a bunch of bosses so they can get these key parts, put those things together, turn in those keys for reputation, unlock mini events so they can spawn more bosses and farm more reps so that they can get like that precious 50 rep and eventually be able to get to whatever it is that they want to get to. The funny thing is that because there's this infinite grind that's already built into Dragonflight, it's been there. It's not a new thing that was, you know, that was brought in. It was created with this in mind. Is that for those other folks who again are wired a different way, they're constantly falling behind because there's this infinite grind. You can keep going, and we're going to find that there's going to be a spectrum of people. I think it's going to be kind of a wide spectrum of people who are going to be like, okay, I'm here, I'm on, I did my dailies yesterday, but I'm back here. I want to be on this character. I want to progress on this because it's my main. And the whole idea with reputation is that your main, you know, most folks at least, they're going to have a main character that they want to really push with, so that way they can unlock those rep boost milestones and things like that. So again, they're going to ask themselves, oh, what are we going to do? There isn't going to be that kind of variety of world quests to do. There isn't going to be a, hey, let's fly through stuff, or let's do some races, or let's do this weird skirting over the water, or let's clear out a bunch of mobs, or take out some rares. No, it's going to be going back to the Waking Shore. Or if anything, it's going to be chasing the events as they happen. So it's like, the Dragonbane, the Dragonbane assault is happening. Okay, cool. Let's knock that out. It's gonna be like 10 or so minutes. Okay, boom. The soup thing is gonna happen. Let's head over there real quick and go to that. Oh, but then there's a hunt in the way. Which thing do we do first? Because if we get to that one a little bit too late, then we're going to miss out on some of the rep and we're going to fall behind. Again, people are wired different ways. And none of us are going to agree on like what's like the correct way to do it or what's the best way to do it. Maybe I'm nervous, or maybe I'm just anxious that's like a little bit further down the line. If nothing is done, if Blizzard decided to do nothing, somewhere down the line, there are going to be fewer people who are doing this infinite farm, who are doing these things as a group. So we're going to find that the Sibelian and Rathian boss farming, that's going to slow down a lot. It's going to be that much harder to complete. Okay, hunts are not that hard anyway, but it may be that much harder to get like a decent community feast event going, where there's going to be so few people that, maybe they'll only get like a couple things done, and then you'll only be able to get like a small part of that weekly feast done, and you won't be able to get like a legendary sort of soup. And then what? Because there's only going to be like so many dailies, or I'm sorry, world quests to do for those couple days, and then people are just going to be basically scrounging around for crap on the ground, digging things up. And we gotta ask ourselves, is that the kind of experience we want Dragonflight to be mid-expansion? Part of me thinks that, again, and I'm only slightly leaning, I guess, towards having world quests just pop up every day, is that it gives people that choice to do it or not do it. And I totally get that having those things up there, it triggers something in a player's head, in some players' head, where it's like, oh, I gotta do those things. But it's nice to have that variety too. And I feel like having that lack of variety that comes from world quests is almost unintentional, because I see, like, if you open up your map, thing, you see this reputation tracker guy, you're not going to be able to track very much. I gotta, that's it. There's like not a whole lot going on, because obviously, this character happened to knock everything out, and there's, very little going on except for like this cool little pet battle thing that I should be knocking out as soon as I'm done with this recording. But I also feel like there are certain rewards that we just haven't seen much of that World Quest did offer, at least in the beta, that I haven't really seen here, at least, and it's because I'm just looking through the lens of one character mostly. And that is Titan training matrices. Seeing fewer of those, because there are fewer world quests going around, means that there's less of that sort of crafting going on, if that even happens. We've had our kind of bitching over like what's going on with crafting orders and how people aren't really participating in that. And one thing is that having fewer of these materials going around, it takes away that much more of that activity. So going all the way back, Blizzard is they're going to think of something. They're going to try to think of something that respects crafting, that respects people's time and whatnot, but I guess I'm just going to leave it to you. And chances are I'm streaming like right now. So feel free to pop on over to our Twitch channel. This is the plug. Maybe I'll see you guys over there, but otherwise I'll see you guys for the next thing. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay breezy.